Okay, we'll stand for the pledge. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, welcome to the March 8th, 2016 meeting of the Village of Rhinebeck Board of Trustees. We're going to start with our election update from the clerk, our administrator, our election administrator.
The Village of Rhinebeck, to the Village of Rhinebeck voters. The annual village election will take place on Tuesday, March 15, 2016. The election will take place at the Rhinebeck Town Hall, 80 East Market Street, Rhinebeck, as the town hall is handicap accessible. Voting will take place from noon to 9. Village registered voters will be voting for 3 candidates, 2 trustees with 2-year terms and 1 trustee with 1-year term. The following candidates are running for office. Trustee, 2-year term, Scott Cruikshank, 21 North Parsons Street, Rhinebeck. Trustee, 2-year term, Sean Kemp, 33 Stortini Drive, Rhinebeck. Trustee, 2-year term, Gary Bassett, 6 Somers Drive, Rhinebeck. Trustee, 2-year term, Richard Lewitt, 39 Lorraine Drive, Rhinebeck. Trustee, 1-year term, Cheryl Monaco, 34 Platt Avenue, Rhinebeck. Trustee, 1-year term, Gina Walker Fox, 9 Manor Road, Rhinebeck. Absentee ballots are available at the village office, 76 East Market Street, Rhinebeck, New York. Applications can be requested at the village office or by phone, 876-7015. These applications must be returned to the village office by March 8, 2016, if the ballots have to be mailed, or by March 14, 2016, if the ballots can be personally delivered to the village office. There is no longer a village registration day. All voters for the village election must be registered with Dutchess County Board of Elections at the correct address in the village. Patricia D. Kuhn, village clerk.
Thanks, Pat.
You're welcome.
Our organizational meeting for the new term will be on April 5th at 7 p.m. right here. That was rescheduled at one of our workshops that would typically have been the second Tuesday, April 12th, but it has been rescheduled to the first Tuesday, April 5th. The new term begins on the first Monday in April, so this will be one short day after. There, we're going to go to county legislative bill time.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the first thing is one of the most important things I think we can work on. Sometimes it's kind of hard to do at the local level, is more jobs, economic development, helping to revitalize the local economy. I've been sort of researching this stuff for a long time. One of the best organizations around is something called the Democracy Collaborative. They're actually going to be spending the whole day, Earth Day, April 22nd, at Vassar College. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because they have so many incredible ideas that can happen on a local level. I actually convinced a bunch of my colleagues in the county legislature to put forth a resolution that co-sponsored resolution that I drafted, asking for the whole Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development to pursue this. And believe it or not, unlike a lot of other ideas that I put forward, this one's actually allowed onto the agenda. It's actually going to be discussed, debated, voted on this Thursday. So I just ask people to go to the website for the county legislature, go to the website for Democracy Collaborative. I'll just give you one idea, which is maybe one of my favorite reasons why I'm trying to push for Dutchess County Planning and Development to do this. In Chicago, they recognize it's a big issue where a lot of the manufacturers want to hire workers and employees, but they're not skilled enough. And so what they did is they put together something called the Chicagoland Renaissance Manufacturing Center. They put together the unions and the factories and colleges and universities and the government, and they came up with this incredible thing where people are actually being trained, it sounds common sense stuff, for jobs that are actually there. And the Dutchess County executive, Mr. Molinaro, pointed out about a year ago in the chambers of the legislature that this is a real big issue and a problem here in Dutchess County. So I'm real proud, did the research, got the resolution, got my co-sponsors, and it's actually on the agenda this Thursday. Now I'm asking the people in this room, anybody watching at home, please contact Democrats and Republicans in the county legislature. Let's get this thing out of committee this Thursday, and so the full board can vote on it on Monday. That's one thing. The next thing is, I think it's our 10th or 11th, the Rhinebeck Repair Cafe is going to be happening. That's Saturday, March 26th, across the hallway at Town Hall, noon to 4 p.m. Bring your broken but beloved stuff in to be fixed for free, whether it's, I'm pretty sure we're going to have the computer guy there, bikes, musical instruments, a lot of lamps get fixed, sewing, mending, needlework. We had a body repair person. We usually have a licensed massage therapist. So it's all going down Saturday, March 26th, noon to 4 p.m. across the way at the Rhinebeck Town Hall. I think probably a number of people in this room were at Town Hall on Saturday for the launch of Solarize Northern Dutchess. If you go to solarizend.org, there's, you can get, discounts on solar for your home. But a lot of people may not want to deal with the hassle of ground-mounted solar. I mean, I like the way it looks. And some homes, a lot of homes, frankly, aren't right, the roofs for solar. Why do I bring this up? Because there's something called community solar, which is working all across the country, even in northern states. And we're having our third meeting. Gentry's come to, I don't know, all 2 or 3 of the meetings, maybe all 3. Our next meeting is going to be Tuesday, April 5th at 5:30 at Town Hall. That's Rhinebeck Community Solar. It's on Facebook. The only thing I was going to say is this. I just learned, because one of the things, I sent in my proposed agenda, just my little mini presentation tonight to the village clerk, to sort of let you guys know what I was going to talk about. $274 million is a lot of money. And last night I organized a conference call with the Vera Institute, Nancy Fishman, and a bunch of my colleagues in the county legislature. One of the things she talked about was the Oklahoma City Chamber of Commerce asked Vera Institute to come out there because they're going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on jail expansion. The Oklahoma City Chamber of Commerce. I'm just telling you folks, I've been doing the research for 10 years on this. I've looked all over the state, all over the country. We do not need to expand the jail by just 1 cell. And one of the things she talked about last night is innocent until proven guilty is not just an empty trope. That's part of the Constitution. And 70% of the people in the county jail haven't gone to trial. Here's something else. If you look all across the state, about 60 or 70% of the people who are in jail who are charged end up getting indicted. In Dutchess County, the percentage of people who are finally indicted after they're being charged is half the rate of the rest of the state. People are being overcharged. They're sitting in jail for a garbage reason. We're not talking about John Dillinger on the land. And I just urge people to go to the Vera Institute report. I'm not going to stand here and bore everybody, but if you want more money from the county to do innovative stuff when it comes to water, infrastructure, who knows, working with Central Hudson to bury the lines, the trees, all this infrastructure needs, the water, sewer, everything in Village of Rhinebeck, please look into some of the stuff that I've come up with on the jail, because we do not need even one new jail cell. That's it. I'm at 46422. Yes, sir.
What jobs are going unfulfilled in Dutchess County?
Well, actually, that's the county executive pointed out that they're the manufacturers. About 8, 9, 10 months ago, Mr. Molinaro stood at the podium in the county legislature and he said that there's manufacturers who want to hire all these people, but there's not enough of a skilled and educated workforce. And so just, I steal a lot of things. And I steal ideas from all over the state, all over the country. Just go to this website, democracycollaborative.org. It's a report that came out a couple months ago. It's more about cities, but the thing is this, and community wealth building. If we make sure that Poughkeepsie comes back, just as Republicans and Democrats across the county now with the new mayor there, it's not just about, the Democracy Collaborative is not just about helping cities. The idea of the Chicagoland Manufacturing Renaissance Council sounds like a crazy thing. That's not just helping the city of Chicago. That's the suburbs. That's making sure that the local economy is rebounding. I just can't say enough words about it. The next time I'm here, I'm gonna have actual copies of the report to give you guys. Just go to democracycollaborative.org and look, because that's just one little idea.
Thanks, Joel.
Yep.
Not on the agenda, but speaking of solar, we have Gentry Rouse again with us here tonight. I know they had the kickoff of the solar program on Saturday, and I had emailed Gentry and said, well, how come the village is not included on the list of participating municipalities? So village residents certainly are eligible. There was some glitch in that we were not able to adopt the unified permit because of our historic district. So, you know, village residents are certainly eligible for the program, but if it's going to be erected in the historic district, they would need to go through the normal process through the planning board.
Yeah, so the Solarize is basically a volumetric buying discount program. And I feel like I'm arching over here. This thing work.
There you go. Thanks.
Tell I never was a musician. Anyway, it's a volumetric discount program. I'm a volunteer. I got, I somehow became the volunteer for the village, and which is a good thing. And so there was a little sort of miscommunication on what the unified solar permit was. It seemed that, and I understand the historic village doesn't want to adopt the general permit for everybody because it does have specific motif and whatnot. But in general, it's just a support from the village that says, yeah, we sponsor solar, we sponsor each site independently. Please, bring your permit to us and we'll see if we can, sort of, pass it depending. But in general, it's just a support. It'll get the village name out there as a supporter. And that's the first general part of just supporting the idea of solar. There's no commitment from the village to support the idea. There are a couple of things that I did want to talk about to support more of the idea, and that is a banner to put over 9 or 308, whichever, wherever you guys may deem sort of appropriate. It does require a Department of Transportation permit. It does require Rhinebeck to provide the insurance. And I did prepare a letter that basically said, I'm looking for the village to kind of give me guidance on, number one, if it's something that you want to support. Again, just for the general idea. Now, the Solarize does select 2 installers as part of the program. So there's 2 installers that can do the work in the Northern Duchess campaign. Only those 2 installed. I mean, they vetted it through a process. So I understand there's, banner requirements for civic and certain things. So basically it just, I think there's a little tag on the bottom of that letter that shows you. It's just like, the Catskill Mountains and, yeah, exactly. And it basically would just say Solarize. I was, wondering maybe 3 weeks, just have it up there to draw attention. Just in general, that's I think separate from the idea of supporting Solarize. Second would be a banner. So they're 2 separate issues.
What's the program parameters in terms of the timeframe?
Essentially, it's good until the program's I think running till the middle of June. So it's just like Red Hook has a day where they're going to do a workshop. Okay. Tivoli has a day when they did the launch in the town. Right. Every little town, it's going on in Saugerties, it's going on in a lot of different places. So all the towns basically have these workshops for residents to come in and learn about solar, what it can't do, get a quote from these selected installers to try to get volumetric discounts based on, a lot of, the more systems, the lower the price.
Who are the installers that have been selected?
Yeah, Hudson Solar and then Direct Energy through a competitive, process.
So if you were to participate in this program, you would use those 2, but it doesn't exclude anybody else from not being a part of the program and using somebody else to do your...
So they're the ones that they're trying to just promote to get volumetric discount. Go to Hudson Solar, and then, if they get 10 installs over the next, 2 months, then the price goes from $1 to 90 cents. You save a little money. It doesn't preclude any installer from doing something else.
So
I mean, any resident from looking at another solar installer, they're just not part of the program.
So you're getting like kickbacks from New York State, NYSERDA, anybody can, right? And
Yes.
then federal government tax credits. So now this is an extra thing only through these two installers?
No, those are available for everybody.
No, I know NYSERDA and federal government, but you're talking about you have to use these two installers to get something extra?
The volumetric discount.
And how much?
It-
Bulk buying.
Yeah, bulk buying, there's a, I don't know what the numbers are, I'd have to look, but it's like if they get 20 installs, it's like a 10% discount. If it's 100, it's, 20% discount. This is just a nice sort of program to try to increase the awareness of solar, to get people putting solar on their house, and essentially trying to create discounted programs, discounted methods of going solar. So there is kind of a little, booster there if, you get a lot of these installs to be contracted by, I think, the end of July or something.
So is there actually an organization, Solarize Hudson Valley, or is it a group of other groups?
So it's basically a volunteer group. There's people from the town of Red Hook, the town of Hyde Park, the town of Milan, Tivoli, might be one or two more. And it's just all of us that wanted to kind of, be a part of the program to, have NYSERDA granted this money to a group in the larger context of the Hudson Valley and said, go to each part of different counties or segments of the counties and get volunteers to run these programs for 4 months. Last year it was in Ulster County, Kingston, so they did it last year there. This is the second one they've done, and it's the Northern Duchess, it's Solarized Northern Duchess. At the same time, they're doing one over in Saugerties. I'm not sure what it's called, but there's a couple towns over on that side doing it. So it's basically NYSERDA's way of trying to get the community to just draw awareness and, and do solar.
So what's the connection between Solarize Hudson Valley and Catskill Mountain Keeper and Sustainable Hudson Valley?
Catskill Mountain Keeper and Sustainable Hudson Valley were the submitting entities to get the grants to basically run these programs. They basically do a lot of outreach, paper, just the general administrative cost of running these programs. So it's a grant. They submitted the grant, they got the grant, and now I don't know how long it's for. It must be maybe 2 years. And basically they've had these funds to go out and increase all of the awareness to solar and hopefully get the group buying to happen. So first and foremost, the general idea is the village would support, Solarize, which doesn't obligate you to anything, except the idea that you support solar, you support the program, and it'd be a case-by-case basis from the perspective of the permits.
Right. Anybody got any questions, reservations?
Yeah, as us committing to participation, what our participation is.
It's sort of a
It's basically us saying here tonight that we support the Solarized Northern Duchess program.
You're right, your participation is in general just that the village recognizes and supports the campaign, wants people to get involved, believes in solar. The town had the same, I actually had to do the thing for the town, and they had the same question, and I said, well, it really doesn't mean you're participating in anything except the idea that you support solar. You're not submitting anything, we can talk about next, the banner.
We're not obligated to do anything.
You're not
You
obligated
should
to
probably
do.
say that, though, I guess.
What?
Because it says that we're committed to something, and I don't know what that something is.
Right.
Yeah.
The idea.
I mean, yeah, I see it similar to, us supporting Alzheimer's Awareness Month or.
It's very
Okay,
similar.
something
I
like
think
that,
that's a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
parallel.
support absolutely.
So you're right, the word commit probably wasn't the best choice of words.
Right.
Oh, was that in there?
That's the
That's
template.
basically the template that they've been giving me.
Yeah.
So I can change that if you want, any wording you don't particularly.
Because we have a meeting
April 5th. Oh, March 22nd is our next meeting. So the program starts again, what, May?
Well, the program basically started.
Kicked off. already.
Yeah,
Okay.
this weekend. So that's what happened was,
Yeah.
I sent you, because really, I was pinging you for the banners, but
Yeah.
also the power line committee, and then I said,
Right.
hey, and then you said, I said, by the way, here's the launch, and then we kind of had that discussion of,
Right.
well, I didn't really know if the village wanted, because we had that back and forth with the permit, which
Mhm.
nobody wanted to adopt, and
Right, you went to
So-
the planning board, I think, to,
you know what, in general, I talked to David Miller, and
okay.
I understood where he's coming from. I mean, I understand it. It's not, you can't just put solar on historic building. It's,
Okay.
so I kind of got it, and then just kind of, the holidays came and January came.
Sure.
So now I'm just saying,
So
if
now
you
we
guys
got,
do want to get involved, so the village gets their name and all the information that they support solar.
yeah. Well, Rich is still reviewing it, I think. So how did we determine the dates that you guys wanted to do the banner? Just
Okay.
so we're clear on this request.
So the banner is different. The banner was, there's going to be a banner up in each town
Okay.
for like, 2 to 3 weeks.
Mhm.
So basically I said, well, Red Hook's gonna have, it's one banner, 1 or 2 banners, so it's gonna be going around everywhere. So the village would I actually changed the dates. Originally it was the June 1st to June 18th, but I basically moved it to whatever it was, the May
Mhm.
something to June 1st, so 3 weeks in May. And this kind of came up as everybody was gonna put a banner in their village or town, and I basically am asking the village if that's something that they want to support. You would have to use your insurance.
Mhm.
I would ask the village support to put it up, and I can't go put the banner up. And if we use utility poles, we have to get the utility, and/or if it's just trees by Rhinebeck or something, or maybe it doesn't have to be over maybe you have a place that you've put a banner before that's a little less
We have the
work
pole banner.
intensive.
Right, that's the only one I can think of.
What's that?
But it's probably a long banner, right?
It's a long banner.
Yeah,
It's probably not a pole banner.
yeah.
It's not like the farmer's market.
No, but those are the ones we already have
Yeah.
the brackets and such for.
So,
Is that a wooden one or is that not?
The brackets
Usually
or,
puts up our big banners.
No, the banner for the Rhinebeck Farmers
which are
Market.
like a fabric or plastic?
Can you just spread those apart?
They put them up.
well, we have the school usually puts one up for a graduation,
You
right?
have a request already tonight.
Yeah, but it doesn't go across the road, does it?
Doesn't?
M&T
No.
Bank.
No?
It does? Across the road
By
there?
M&T.
Okay. So there's a spot.
No.
Yeah, but the question is who puts the banners up? We don't put them up.
Oh, you guys don't usually put them on?
No.
Okay. Well, we'd have to determine exactly where it's gonna go and
Right.
see if we have the resources.
Okay.
The agency to put it up there.
Yeah, so you want to think about it and I can, try to discover a little bit more of how I'm going to get this banner up there?
Sure.
Okay.
Maybe one of the participating agencies.
Yeah.
Vendors might have resources with,
Yeah.
up there.
Okay, because basically the village will not put the banner up, correct?
Well,
Oh, we're not saying we will not, it's just that,
we don't have the means.
yeah, we don't have a bucket truck and,
Right.
so I don't know that we have the capacity to do it.
And I
Gotcha.
believe we have to get permission from Central Hudson to put it on their poles.
Of course. I didn't know if we could grab a tree limb.
And DOT if it's going across.
Yes, I got the DOT
Yep, you got that.
application, but, all right, well, so you want me to kind of discover a little more, maybe come back and just be a little more defined in my execution strategy?
That would be fantastic. And how are we at on that one there?
Well, I mean, I know you have a smart communities pledge, I haven't read it in years.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
so
I-
let's
I-
have, that's only, what, 3 weeks from today, 2 weeks? 2 weeks from tonight, we have a budget workshop, so we can work on it, up or down, vote on that
Okay.
meeting.
All right, so next, what are the 2 weeks?
Yeah,
is when
2
you
weeks
vote?
from tonight,
Okay.
7 o'clock, the 22nd.
All right, and I guess would the village want to put out like do you have a newsletter place too, maybe to vote on, next week, like to put out a newsletter to support the idea too? I mean, that's the only support I'm looking for, I guess, maybe outside, it's just Solarize is here, make sure you learn about it, go to the link. I don't know if the village has a website where they can,
Yeah, we have informational notices that we post.
There you
So
go.
Let's say on the 22nd that we approved it, I
Gotcha,
could send out a notice and say the village has
Perfect.
chosen to participate in the,
and send a link, gotcha,
a link to the website.
done, okay.
Good.
Last thing, you want to talk about the power line committee really fast or no?
Yeah, sure. Yes, we do.
Okay, so I was designated as the power line committee chairman somehow, because Gary Kenton put me there, and so Heath reached out to me, not sure how, but somehow it came back up because obviously Central Hudson's trying to trim a lot of trees and whatever. So all of a sudden there was a lot of interest in burying the power lines, and my, first, assumption is, who's gonna pay for it, right? So this is the reality. I'm willing to run it, but, I think it is a good time if you are thinking about ripping up the streets for the water. If it doesn't get done then, it's probably not gonna get done. So I guess my idea was, to try to come up with a general, framework of what's possible, but in the end, every single transformer and connection to the house has to be ripped up. Everything on Main Street has to be ripped up and rewired. So, I mean, I'm for it, but here's what I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna chase a black hole.
Okay.
So I'm looking for the village to kind of say, this is something that we do want you to sort of get involved in. You don't have to tell me today. I do have a meeting I'm hoping to do the 28th with the committee to try to, bring this back to center, but
So you were able to reach out to the people that were previous on the committee,
Yeah.
and you have a number of people that are willing to come to
Yes.
the meeting on the 20th? Yeah.
Yes.
So the village board, I think it was, I'm not sure it was the last regular meeting, but we did vote to establish an underground utility committee, and we did name you at that meeting. So it's, the village has put their support behind it.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
we, I know in the past it was an informal committee that was generated from Gary Kenton.
Right.
You guys kind of met, and there were no reports brought back here to the village board. So now it would be in a more formal capacity, and you guys would give us kind of status updates, and I believe the goal would be to give us, feasibility,
Right.
can we do it? How would we do it? How would it cost? What are some potential financing options for us? I think that's kind of the framework of what we would need to go with.
that's fair. No, I mean, I can give some general framework,
Yeah.
and in the end, it's gonna, I mean, I'm a realist too. It's gonna cost a lot of money, and you gotta figure out who's gonna pay for
Yeah,
it.
we'd have to find money and commit resources to find the money.
Correct,
so-
but you may be able to sink it into some of the cost of the public works,
Sure.
so. Okay, so I'll get that committee going. Yes, sir.
Is there anybody named Eric Bloom on the committee?
No, but if you wanna pass them along.
He wrote us a letter.
Very good.
Okay.
I love supporters.
How many do you have right now?
I got like 5, 4.
Okay. Well, no, it's
I'm
fine.
looking for more.
Okay, very good.
All right, very good. So you want me to reach out to him? Is that what you want? Oh, all right. I like it. Okay. All right, so the other thing is I need permission to use the downstairs office because I'm not a member.
Certainly.
Is there gonna be a trustee there?
Scott will do it on the 28th.
All right,
Wait,
so
wait,
it's
wait.
just trustee.
Yeah.
Well, it's the Monday. Is that the 20th?
I just want to make sure it wasn't the 24th when we have the next budget workshop. Okay.
The 28th. You gonna invite me?
Yeah, I can get your email somewhere.
It's on the website.
Okay, I'll just email you and I'll include you and this gentleman, Eric Blum.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Gentry, thank you very much. On to our treasurer's report. Karen.
Good evening. Okay, the Village of Rhinebeck Treasurer's Report is for the period of February 1st through February 29th. The general fund ended the month with $665,783.98. The water fund ended the month with $603,142.90. The sewer fund ended the month with $671,381.43. The vouchers requested for payment this month in the general fund total $79,619.82. In the water fund with the prepaid totals $28,442.69. In the sewer fund, $19,178.20. In the capital projects water, $1,323.81. And in the capital project sewer, $47,694.27. I'll just go through everything and then if you wanted to do a resolution after. On the back pages. The transfer of funds for those purchases are from the water operating to the capital of $357.50, and from the sewer operating fund transferred to the capital $47,694.27 for the wastewater treatment plant headworks project. The February expense and revenue statement is attached to your treasurer's report. The water and sewer adjustments have been reviewed and signed off by the water and sewer department liaisons. They are attached with the monthly billing and work order activity report. I ask the board for a resolution to authorize the presented billings and adjustments. Budget. A budget meeting was held on March 3rd, at which time the clerk presented to the board the tentative budget. As the board has already been reviewing the budget, they continued their review line by line. The board will meet again on Tuesday, March 22nd, and Thursday, March 24th, if necessary. The New York Fiscal Stress Management System. Fiscal stress is measured by specific financial indicators outlined by the New York State Fiscal Stress Monitoring System. Above 45% is classified as susceptible to fiscal stress. The village's score for 2015 was 8.3%, receiving a no designation reading. The board's efforts to keep expenses down and streamline the budget is commendable and is why we are in a really good standing with the financial stress management.
Do they do that on an annual basis?
Yes, it will be done every year. So we have to stay with it, keep it down. Any questions?
Oh, yes, I've got one. Go ahead, Gary.
Go ahead,
You got one?
I'm going to make a motion on the adjustments, but if you, go ahead.
Well, I got a question on the adjustments. There's one, a credit for $735 to reduce to minimum for the pool off-season.
Yes, the town pool, they get charged a minimum billing, and this winter they did not turn it off, but they used a total of
2,600.
2,000 gallons, which they wanted to keep open to use for the bathroom and sink. But their minimum billing is really $75, which is more than what they've actually used. So I made a decision to charge them at the minimum, which is the $75, which reduced it from the $800 quarterly statement.
So this would happen every year, right? Same.
No, normally what the town does is they turn the water off, and there's no billing during this period of time because there is no usage. This year they did not turn it off. They kept it open to keep the bathroom operation.
Okay, and it's a what is the size of the line they have going in there?
It was I don't remember, was it?
It's gotta be like a 6-inch line or something to be that much, or 4-inch?
Right, for a minimum of, I think it's maybe a 4-inch, because the minimum is that 810.
Right.
Okay, so they have a big line that's historically been turned off every winter?
Correct.
Okay.
How long is that minimum for? 1 quarter, $800, and you're saying it's
$800 to the building period, yes,
for a quarter?
yes.
And were they typically live for three quarters? Is that-
And
then off for one?
Yes, off for one.
Anybody got any issues with that one before we?
No, you're saying they use less than $75 worth of water.
Exactly.
All right. All right.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to accept the adjustments and the billing that's presented to the board.
Second. Any more discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the transfer of funds as submitted by the treasurer.
Second.
Discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
That's all the ones we need to do, right?
Authorize the vouchers. The payment of vouchers.
Okay, and I'd like to authorize the payment of the vouchers as submitted, which are prepared and available downstairs in the clerk's office.
Second.
Discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Karen.
Okay, thank you.
So we have a continuation of a public hearing. I'd like to make a motion to continue that public hearing in regard to the brush and yard waste removal proposal. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody from the public like to comment on the brush and yard waste removal proposal?
I would like to ask,
Come on up there,
Oh.
please.
I just read this, so I came unprepared. Will this one day a month, will that be the same day in each month? Or the same work day, first Monday or second Tuesday or whatever?
There will be a follow-on proposal, which I'm planning to make right after
Oh,
we adopt this, and that will call for pickup twice a month. So it'll be the first and third Monday on everything north and to include Market Street, north of and including Market Street. And the second and
oh.
fourth Monday, everything south of Market Street.
And the proposal said that we should not place it in the gutter, but the way they scoop that up is they scoop it from the gutters. So I don't, I'm accustomed to putting the material in the gutter, but so that it doesn't impede traffic.
Do you have is there a drain there?
No.
Okay, I think that's the
Yeah,
primary.
the wording is, to
Yes.
my mind, a little unclear whether if
Did you
it's
talk to
only
Scott?
if there's
Did you tell Scott
drain.
that?
No, I made the suggestion that we scratch the words in the gutter. So that it would read under 38-5, placement of materials for collection. Such material shall be placed in front of the property, but not covering any storm
Good.
water drain. So
Fine.
rather than,
Yes.
I think that the gutters aren't defined well enough, and I just don't, that was my suggestion, is that if we're not in the gutter, then we're in the street.
And that's less restrictive, so we're
Get
okay
out
Didn't
with
make
that.
that change in the top.
Okay. Any other public comment on the brush and yard waste removal proposal? You guys got any questions on it? Okay.
I just want to say it's gonna be twice a month for everybody, June, July, August, and September, right?
That's correct.
Before then, April 1st through May 15th, it's all the time. And then October 1st to December 1st, all the time. So we're just trying to get a little schedule
Great idea.
during the summer months.
Great idea.
More efficient.
Yeah.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Close the public hearing?
Oh, I would like to make that motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Any discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
And then I would like to make a motion to approve the brush and yard waste removal law.
Second.
Any
In
discussion?
accordance with the resolution as prepared?
Yes, in accordance with the resolution as prepared. Want to redo the second?
I will second.
Okay. Discussion. Oh,
Well,
oh,
I just want to make sure it's, because there's really no, it doesn't say like the first Monday in here.
No, will be a separate, it allows us to set a schedule.
Okay.
And then we will be subsequently setting the schedule. That allows us to change it. Maybe we'd have to, in the future, it would have to be South Street as the cutoff, or depending on where all the leaves and such are.
Okay.
Maybe it would have to be quadrants or something. Any more? All's in favor?
Aye.
So as the follow-on to that, I would like to make a motion to establish the schedule, which would begin on April 1st, is that correct? Yeah, April 1st, no, June 1st, because the April 1st to 15th is already defined. So for the months of June, July, August, and September, to set the schedule at the first and third Monday north of and including Market Street, the second and fourth Monday, everything south of Market Street.
Second.
And so discussion? Yes, Rick.
What about the last 2 weeks of May?
The last 2 weeks of May,
There will be-
you will have had a free-for-all pickup between May 1st
So there's no
and May
collection?
15th. And then the streets will be clean, the street sweepers will be coming through. We will have a Memorial Day parade, and then June 1st.
So
it'll
there's no
pick up.
collection May
Yes.
16th through June 1st?
Exactly. So, but they will be sweeping the streets, which is what they typically do, and all the preparation and plantings for the spring. Anything from the board? Was there no more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I think we'll get that printed, and that'll go up on the website with the law, the schedule for the upcoming season. We'll do our best to let everybody know. Yeah.
So what will that process be to let everybody know? I mean, we have a website, we'll be able to do the distribution, is there gonna be a mailer or something?
I'll turn the water bills, we can,
Yeah,
we
but-
sometimes, no?
Yes, I don't know if we'll have time to get to everybody before, we won't.
It takes 3 months to get to everybody.
Yeah.
Please do a press release then.
Yeah, we'll do a press release, informational notice. And we can put them in the water bills. I mean, all the ones that go out between now and then, we should have.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea to get
Yeah.
something.
Do we have did the March bills go out already? All right, so the last,
They go out the end of this month.
all right, so we would have March, April, May, so everybody should get one, get the notice before June 1st, or thereabouts, so we should be able to reach everybody. And do you happen to know the zones, because the one zone is Rhine Cliff in the town, that wouldn't apply?
Right, I think they just finished the town.
Well, that's perfect,
after.
because that would be the last one. Okay, good.
You want the local law to go out as well?
Yeah.
Or just a schedule?
No, I think why not, right? That defines it as to,
It's gotta be filed with the Secretary of State next.
yeah, well, that has to happen
Are you gonna change?
first.
That's it.
Seem to have lost my agenda. You can tell me what's next.
Farm animals.
Yeah, so farm animals, discussion, that's gonna be tabled. We need to review.
We've received county comments at 5:17 this evening.
Yes.
Asking for some definitions and the effect on the fairgrounds, so I'll have to just go through it.
Okay. So we'll move on to police report. Month of February, there were 15 incidents in the town, 79 incidents in the village, 8 tickets in the town, 76 in the village, a total of 13 arrests and 9 accidents. That's it for police. Fire.
Fire. Okay. For the month of February, there were 23 fire calls, 6 in the town, 14 in the village, and 3 mutual aid calls. For the month of February, there were 54 EMS calls, 22 in the town, 22 in the village, and 6 mutual aid calls. There was also 4 motor vehicle accidents, 1 in the town, 2 in the village, and 1 mutual aid call. They did not respond to 4 calls, therefore their response percentage was 92%. The overall average response time was 8.55 minutes. There were 39 patient transports, 36 to Northern Memphis Hospital, 1 to Mid-Hudson Regional, and 2 to Vassar Brothers Medical Center. On Sunday, February 28th, there were 30 members of the fire department that attended the 8-hour OSHA refresher. On March 1st, the department went live with the EPCR software that we bought, and all patient records are now electronically inputted. The department has been running smoothly, and there are no other details to report. I have a little second piece of my report tonight. With me tonight, I have the invitation to bid and the specifications for a new fire attack truck. As some of you may or may not know, we have some aged equipment in the fire department that we've been looking to replace for some years now. The fire department formed a truck committee a couple of years ago now from their membership, and headed up by Darren Forbes, our assistant chief, to work together with the suppliers and manufacturers to plan and specify a truck that is cost effective and meets the district's needs. At the same time, about 2 years ago, the village board enlisted or commissioned a study of our fire department's fleet. The study made many suggestions and recommendations, and was quite helpful to us. Two of the highest priorities mentioned in the study were to replace our aging fleet and to provide additional water capacity within our fleet. And also in the study, 2 trucks were targeted for replacement. So the specification that we have today is for the replacement of 5914. It's our attack truck. It's our first due truck. It's a 1988. It's 28 years old. Based on the study and based on industry standard, it should have been retired around 2013. Even if in good condition, fire trucks these days, a lot of them don't meet the current NFPA standards. We've made a couple of repairs here and there, and we've updated a few things. Costly, but it's stayed in service. So the invitation to bid and specifications tonight are to replace 5914. It will function just as the one as it replaces. It's the initial fire attack in both hydrant and non-hydrant districts. The new truck, the water capacity will be increased by 500 gallons to 1,500. So based on that report that we received, they thought it would be a good idea to increase the water capacity of our fleet. The new truck is a crew cab 4-door diesel truck. Rich helped us. We put together the invitation to bid. Legally, it's sound. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to make a motion to allow Pat to publish it, put it out to bid no later than April 14th. The specifications require that a bid be due in 30 days. And then from the receipt of the bids, the Board of Trustees can or cannot, doesn't have to, agree to them, and does not obligate them to buy the truck. But we do have to act within 60 days of receiving and opening the bids. So I'd like to make a motion that we put the fire truck out to bid.
Second. Any discussion?
Any comments? I got that, the truck committee worked pretty hard, a couple of years. Darren Forbes and Bryant Knapp, and Shane. Who else is on it? John McGuire. Yeah, a lot of guys worked pretty hard on this over a couple of years. They worked on it for 2 years. I asked them to put it on hold as we got that study completed, because we wanted kind of a third-party kind of review of the fleet. And the review of the fleet came together with what they had recommended, and we adopted some of the recommendations based on the study. So.
Do you guys is there an issue with the dates?
Well, you said April 14th?
Yeah.
On here it says April 12th.
Oh, April 12th.
Okay.
I wrote it. I just
wanted to-
misread it.
Okay.
Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Do you have anything else for fire?
I'm done.
Did you see this thing yet?
I did not.
Did you guys see this thing from the insurance company? No, there's a new law that I guess went into effect on June 15th of 2015 that allows for workman's comp coverage for firefighters and volunteer ambulance workers providing service outside of his or her jurisdiction prior to the arrival of an officer in command. We did it?
I thought we did it last
Yeah,
year.
we have cards.
That sounds familiar to
We
you?
have the card.
Well, you have the card, but this is like an extension.
Outside your district.
Oh, outside of the-
So I guess, you know, if you're on.
So it's
Yeah.
duty to act type.
So if you're in
coverage.
somewhere over in Ulster County and you're
Right.
providing first responder care, you
Right.
could be covered under workman's comp.
Whether or not somebody's there yet or not.
Right, and that's what I'm not clear on, is what exactly changes when, when someone from the, their chief arrives, how does that change the scenario?
Well, then I think you would be under their coverage at that point because you're
That's,
acting,
and
if he
mutually.
says, yeah, sure, help us out, you'll be under their coverage. But if you act on your own somewhere else before someone's dispatched, apparently you're being covered by our workman's comp.
I believe that's what it says. Rich, are you?
That's true, I mean, if you're called in, you are covered under the,
But in order to be covered under this, apparently, we have to adopt a
which I thought we
resolution.
did last year, but,
Okay,
I mean, there's no harm in.
so it's nothing, you're comfortable with it?
I'll go back and check the records.
Okay, but,
We can do it again.
yeah.
You can do it
It's
again.
not gonna make joy. Okay. So I will make the motion to approve the workers' comp coverage as outlined in the state law.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? So you guys might want a copy of this. This is a copy,
I'll
right?
give you one.
Pat,
I'll give you one.
Pat, this is a copy of this, right?
Yes.
You guys have this one. It's actually got, the back has the state law, defines what it is, and everything. Yep. Okay, planning and zoning. Anybody got anything you wanna highlight?
Any highlights?
All right, just quick, planning and zoning, street department, Kelly?
Okay, mechanical repairs and maintenance was done on all the equipment. Potholes were cold patched. Catch basins were cleaned out on Arnett, Livingston, and South Street. Vegetation was cleared from the roadways and easements. Road sign repair was done. Street sweeping was done. The shop was cleaned up and garbage was removed from the streets. And also there was the highway garage area was cleaned up. He has a request to declare 2 vehicles surplus, but I'm not sure what this is all about, so I'm not gonna make a motion to do anything on that. John Fenton and I and Mike Wolf are gonna be looking at a wheel loader tomorrow at H&O Penn, which might have an attachment that can pick up the brush. We're always in search of a better way to pick up the brush and to use less equipment and guys doing that job. So we're gonna go look at a piece of equipment tomorrow in Poughkeepsie. And that's it for the highway department.
How about the West Market
Well-
Street, did you looked at it, the bid package for West Market Street?
I did.
Is it
We're good to go.
good to go? Okay.
It was, the last look was gonna be by Rich.
And I sent a rider into the contract, and it should be set.
Okay.
So we're good to send that out to bid to West Market Street? Okay. So I'll make that motion to release the bid for the drainage work to be done on West Market Street.
To release the request for proposals.
Yes.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
You all right? Water?
Welcome to what feels like maybe the first day of spring. So first, I just want to apologize to the board. My attachment to the clerk apparently had the wrong month in it, so I'm going to read the correct month's report. So, which you do not have in your folder, so I'll go over what the report is for February. total water treated was 368,000 gallons, and the previous month was 405,000 gallons. Pretty steady. On the distribution system, again, we continue to have some water breakages. We have a water leak on Mulberry Street, which is right in the street. So what we needed to do to contain that, we shut off at Mulberry Street, which feeds the fairgrounds. And what we were able to do was then put in the secondary feed, turn that on, which comes in on Parsonage Street. So the fairground is still supplied with water until some time that we can now work with the street committee, the street department, to dig up and have blacktop to repave and fix the leak in Mulberry, and then actually determine how we want to do it, because there's a dead line in there as well, which may be the cause that was disconnected years ago. So we will be able to look at all of that and make those repairs come good weather, and have a review with the street department, the highway department. There's also, we have a pretty good sized water leak at 6425 Montgomery Street this month. There are basically some broken pipes inside the building, which resulted in the sprinkler system flooding the basement of the building. The water department, you know, they're always on top of things. They were actually watching the water consumption at the time, and they happened to know that there was something going on, because they could detect the amount of water was higher than normal. They immediately went out and started to drive around looking for a leak. And at the same time, a phone call came about the leak at 6425. So approximately, based on the volume of water, we were looking at about 200,000 gallons of water came out of the sprinkler system into the flood that basement. So,
Is that building right on Route 9?
yes, it's Del Mar House.
Oh,
Yes.
I didn't hear you say that. Was it
Yeah.
Del Mar House?
Yeah. So, we were able to turn that off at the curb so they could do their cleanup. We also had a water break at 29 Mill Street due to a frozen water meter in a pit, which is at the cemetery down on Mill Road. That happened on a Saturday morning. We were able to get that out and actually make the fix right away by replacing the meter. Up at the Hiley Road Reservoir, again, as I mentioned, it's springtime. Our grass is going to start growing up there. What we would like to do again is talk, about the issue of maybe a way to clean up around the reservoir. And what I'd like to do is have a proposal, the discussion about to control that vegetation up there by bringing in the green goats again. So using the green goats was an effective experiment last year. I feel it would be an effective way to go forward for this year, although it would be a little bit longer period of time. The assumption would be that we would use a flash mob of goats early in May that would last for maybe 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the vegetation growth and how fast they are able to contain that. And then at the end of that period, there would only be maybe three goats left that would be doing maintenance work for the rest of the season until fall time. All right. So, but what I'd like to do is, I know this is something new, something that we're really trying to do, and what I would like to have, and we talked about at our budget meeting, was to set up a comment period. So we would like to schedule a comment period for one of our next meeting on 3/24 for having public opinion on this.
Do you have jurisdiction for Hiley Road?
We're going to take the public comment, on March 24th at 7 p.m. I'll make the motion to schedule the public comment session for March 24th at 7 p.m.
I would suggest you
Any
get
discussion?
copies of your deed restriction.
It sounds like you guys already made the decision before you even brought it to the public.
There's no vote being
No,
made
there was-
on the 24th, is that correct?
Right, we got a motion to have a public comment session in a second.
So
for the
there's
24th.
no vote
Well,
that's gonna be
yeah.
made on the 24th.
But you've made the decision already. You've left the tent up there all winter long. You've let the
Can we
barn
address
all winter long with
the
the
motion that's
thought
on the table?
I second it.
Okay, you second it?
You've left the barn
Frank,
up
we're
there.
not in a public
You've
comment
left the barn
session.
up
Frank.
there all winter long.
Frank, that doesn't mean you made a
You're not in
decision.
a public comment session.
But it's an eyesore, and it's not supposed to be up
Frank,
there.
this is not a public comment session. Please return to your seat and respect, what is the meeting?
You
the
folks
precedent?
aren't respecting us on Hiley Road. You've enacted a law in the town.
Frank,
to
we've
let
asked
more
you
than
multiple
one go.
times to refrain from further comment. We're not accepting
I'll
public
bring
comment
them up in
right now.
my 3 minutes then.
Fair enough, bring them up in your 3 minutes. So, any further discussion on the proposal to set the public comment session for
Wow.
March 24th, 7 p.m.
Unbelievable.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So, March 24th, 7 p.m. Thursday, up until that time, we will accept written public comment. Please direct comments to the village clerk, Pat Kuhn. On that evening, we will accept oral comments in regard to the goats. No, there's been no decision made. We will accept public comments on the 24th, and at the following meeting on April 5th is where after we've had time to hear from the public.
Some
and
decision has been
consider-
made since the tent is still up there. The tent should have been removed if no decision was made. There is no good reason for that obstacle to be up there.
Yeah,
So, moving on,
yeah,
right?
we will do so.
I'd like to continue and complete my report, please. The other aspect is the lagoon cleanup. We had a bid, I reviewed this at the last monthly meeting to do a lagoon cleanup. That current bid, the bidder removed himself from the bidding process. He was unable to perform the bid as specified. So I've been working with Crawford Associates to work on revising that bid. The issue with the previous bid was it was based on gallons. Even the previous proposal to this was based on removing gallons of water from the lagoon. Unfortunately, gallons of water doesn't relate to actually how much sludge is removed from the lagoon. So the purpose of the lagoon cleanup is actually to remove the sludge from the lagoon, not to have somebody come in and just say we can pump 150,000 gallons, right? Because if you look at the density, if the lagoon is filled with water, the density of sludge is about 1%. If you lower the lagoon, right, to a lower level, the density of the sludge increases and you get a 4%, ratio in terms of water to sludge. So effectively, by lowering the lagoon, we can then remove more sludge from the lagoon as part of the process, rather than paying, for having water removed, right? So, because what we want to do is we really want to pay to have the sludge removed and not water. So the focus of the revised proposal, which is in your package tonight for you guys to review, is really focused on that. It's lowering the level of the lagoon so we can increase the density of sludge, so we can focus on that removal. And it's focused on using a volume metric of yards of sludge based on the analysis of the size of the lagoon. So we can actually then measure that based on the trucks that are hauled out by measuring the density of the sludge, and then determine basically how much sludge removed, and we can spread this out over 3 years. So this is the current proposal, which is up for the board to review, right? The board has not had a chance to review this yet. I would like to have the board take time to review this, so then we can have a discussion at our next meeting going forward. Okay?
So this is open until April, or you want to address this between now and then?
It's not, there's no date really specified yet on it.
Okay.
I have some comments, but if we're going to leave it open, then
Yeah.
I can just give them to you. if that's-
Yeah, my goal is, because you guys haven't had a chance to review it, because we just got it.
Yeah.
Right, and I think it's only fair that everybody have a chance to review the proposal, right, and have an open discussion and then go forward on that.
So the reference to the pre-bid meeting is in this packet?
Yes, they
Is
included.
that accurate, or
No, that was just part of this proposal. What I'm proposing is to change that pre-bid,
kick it out?
to kick that part out, so we have a review time based on the board to answer any questions and concerns, so we can address that.
Okay.
Because the one thing that's in here that was in the old one was that each bidder is strongly encouraged to visit the site. We want to make it mandatory, because one of the things was negotiating that road.
Exactly.
Right, so those are one of the things we want them to be able to see in person.
And that was one of the things we mentioned in this, and strongly, I think a better choice of words would be mandatory,
Required, yeah.
right? Which is the words that I put in my draft, that it has to be required, so that's part of that review process, right, of going through that.
Well, we're gonna try to get it done before June 1st. The bid's back, so we can comply with the
Yes,
fiscal year.
yes. So I would like to do it our next available time to
Okay.
have that discussion.
Yeah, 22nd or 24th.
22nd or 24th,
Yeah,
whichever one you guys feel,
okay,
you feel is appropriate.
okay.
We're also moving forward on the water improvement project, where, as I mentioned before, we're in phase 2. A lot of the survey field work was done. In fact, as of at the end of February, 90% of that was done and 50% of the mapping, and they expected to complete that by the middle of March. So, 314. So that would include not only Montgomery Street, but Platt, Chestnut, and Livingston, which is all of the areas we wanted to have mapped out, so we have a total picture of what we were dealing with going forward. So that report should be available shortly thereafter, so that we can address those in discussion, have that. Okay. Any questions? That ends the report.
Howie? Tree Commission?
Tree Committee, well, we did not have a meeting last week. We're having our meeting March 15th, next week. Meg Crawford is still away, so we decided to postpone our tree meeting. But we do have a letter from Isabella Schulte, who's here. Did we want to go over that? Did you want to come up and discuss the letter?
I'm not sure why I should discuss it. The essence of it is simply that I think the homeowners who are affected by these trees, the large number that was recommended by the tree committee, should at least be informed of that. And then if they're going to be informed, I think that their opinion should be heard. To take my own example, I didn't know anything about this until I happened to come to the brush issue, for which I'm very glad that you have solved the brush issue. But I have 3 trees, and according that all are marked. And so if I would have had to pay 50% of their removal, and I'm in favor of their removal, that would have cost me $1,000 by current price. And that's just the financial aspect. The aesthetics is that they are very disfigured and will become even more disfigured because, as you know, the Central Hudson by law, by state law, is required to prune to crown, which means that my 60-foot trees will become 15-foot trees, which will disfigure them even more. And furthermore, there'll be more of a safety hazard, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm very glad to see them gone. However, the board decided to only specify 1 tree. And I assume other homeowners are in the same situation. And it would seem that the board would be.
So I think those trees will go to the tree commission now, right? Or have they been?
Well, I've
Right,
submitted
the 2
a
trees,
removal application.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Right.
But I think my neighbors didn't know about this.
Well, the thing was, as I explained to you, the first week of January is when the whole tree commission found out about this, from Central Hudson's proposal. But
Right.
Central Hudson was not the tree commission or
Right,
the village board that said,
Right.
let's cut all these trees down.
right,
Central Hudson gave us an offer
right,
to cut the trees down at a reduced
Right.
price because
Right.
they're gonna be trimmed anyway.
right.
And I don't think they're gonna top them off. As you can see what they've been doing so far, there's a V going through them. So I don't think your 60-foot tree is gonna be 15 feet. There's gonna have a V in it probably.
Well, I watched the
They haven't
video.
gone down this way yet, but they've gone on Route 9 and they have not topped them off.
I think tomorrow.
Tomorrow they'll be on her?
I think so.
Yeah.
And then it's marked tomorrow.
Well, I watched the January video last weekend, and that is, they said that as a result of the blackout of 1993, the law has been changed, and they had been going rather easy on,
On Rhinebeck. Yeah.
so that we wouldn't be in the shock that.
Right.
but eventually they'll have to follow the law. But I want the trees removed,
Yeah, she
so.
wants them gone.
Yeah, and we determined as a board, as we all walked around, we looked at it a different way to see there was a criteria for the trees. If they contributed to the canopy, I was gonna say treescape, the canopy, which goes over the road, which about 90% of the general public was concerned about when we had our meetings. They were concerned about the canopy.
I beg to differ, perhaps, but first of all, I don't think you took a percentage of the people who were here. However, if the 90% is accurate, it's only the 90% who was vocal. No one on my block knew about this, and so
Well,
they don't contribute.
well, everybody found out about it at our public hearing, at our public meetings.
Everybody? Not my neighbors. Yes, there is a meeting. My
Right.
question is, shouldn't each of the affected homeowners be informed? We were informed last week by the water department that there might be an interruption of a half an hour. Why aren't homeowners informed if their trees are going to be removed?
Good point.
That's the-
But we were under
That's the
such,
point.
it
That's-
was
yes.
such a small amount of time. As I said, they wanted to do this by, today is what, March 8th?
Hey,
We found
This
out
is-
about this about 2 months ago, the first week of January.
But this is a major change.
Right.
This is not an interruption of half an hour or an hour, which never occurred anyway. At least I wasn't affected.
So what exactly is the issue that you're raising?
That
Did you
the-
want trees removed that weren't removed?
That's not the point. The point is that the homeowners who are affected either way were not informed. Those specific homeowners.
Did you get a letter from Central Hudson?
Yeah.
And
Not to my knowledge.
well, according to Central Hudson, I know I got one, I don't know about anyone else here. So they sent them out to their entire zones, and I believe they said there were 3 zones in the village. So you should have gotten one that said, in the upcoming weeks, Central Hudson will
Oh,
be.
about pruning, yes.
Right.
No, this is about tree removal. Oh, yes, the pruning I know about.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm concerned that the property owners in the village were not specifically informed that the trees on their sidewalks would or would not be removed. Of the 120 or whatever it was. If I had not been
Okay.
informed, 2 trees would remain and 1 would have been taken down, and I would not have known unless I happened to come here. That's my
Do we
concern.
know where they are in the removal process? Because I know they had started removing some of the trees.
They've completed Route 9, and I believe, I think it's tomorrow, they're gonna start on East Market Street.
The removal, not
To
the.
removal?
The
Oh,
removal.
good.
Yeah, I believe so. But that's been coordinated with John Fenton, the DPW superintendent, on a more or less daily basis, and as their schedule moves around, I think that's the last I heard, tomorrow and Thursday, I believe. So that's a fair suggestion.
Is there time that we can still get,
There
make a
have
phone
been-
call?
There have been suggestions for trees to be added to the list. The highway department had identified some, and Isabel has identified trees that she would prefer to have removed.
Well, I think Isabel's question is not, I think there's 2 parts. I think
Yeah.
one part, though, is just the fact that notifying the people who are having a tree removed so
Right.
that they're aware of it. I think that's your first.
And the
point, correct?
ones that were designated by the tree committee but will not be removed.
Well, they were all tagged. All those
There's-
trees, they have a tag.
I saw the tag, but I didn't know what
Unless
your
your
tag
unless your
was
tag's
for.
been removed.
What?
Unless your tag somehow
Well,
got
yeah,
removed
right.
last minute. Yeah.
But I didn't know what the tag was for. I thought it was, I saw
I
the
see, I
tag.
understand. So, to answer part A, is there an opportunity to let residents know about a tree that's being removed?
And according to Central Hudson, that there are trees that we removed from the list because they either were or appeared to be outside the right of way. So the village, we didn't feel that we had the authority to make a decision on whether those trees be
Right.
removed or not. So in that case, Central Hudson, what they said is they would be contacting the individual homeowners as they move down the street. Particularly in South Parsonage, there are trees that are outside of the right of way, and we had them measured.
That wasn't the point of mine. But then we also don't know what will happen after they've been, what can a homeowner do to influence, for example, what trees are planted and where they're planted?
You can volunteer for the tree commission.
I think- No,
You can go to a tree, probably the best thing at this, juncture in time would be for you to go to the next tree commission meeting, because the tree commission is gathering all the information on the trees in terms of removals, prunings, replantings, and then they act in an advisory capacity to the village board, and then we either approve or disapprove their recommendations. So that'd be the best, I think the best path forward.
That's fine for me standing here,
Right.
but I'm speaking on behalf of 100.
Yeah, well-
Not that they know it, but that is precisely, they don't know this.
Well, this would be, if we're talking in general concepts, it would be the same as we're talking about the brush and yard waste. These are all public hearings, they're all posted. We can't personally reach every single resident with every single action taken by the board. So there is some responsibility on the resident to seek out the information and keep themselves current. We would do our best, and we took your suggestion that, we should contact the homeowners where their trees getting taken down, but we don't have a perfect solution to get every action by the board into your hands. I mean, we're gonna send out, like on the brush and yard waste law, and the water bill.
I guess I beg to differ on that point. It's not every action, it's a very significant action on specific properties.
Right,
We're
well, then it
talking
would be
about-
up, then who's gonna decide what is significant? We're getting,
All right,
but thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay, so we do have a couple applications for new members, but for the tree commission.
So you're gonna give those to the tree committee?
Yeah, we haven't had a meeting, so
Okay.
we'll talk about that next.
So we'll table that?
Yeah, March 15th, next Tuesday, we have a tree meeting.
Okay. That's it for the tree
Yes.
commission? So for the Parks and Recreation Committee, I have been working with John Fenton in terms of scheduling some work up at Legion Park in line with what we talked about last year. We'll have another meeting of the committee soon, but we should be able to start on some of the park improvements that will be completed by the village labor force. And we do have, I think, a little bit in the budget left maybe for some topsoil, planting some grass. Special requests,
Can we do wastewater?
do we skip wastewater?
Yeah, let's skip wastewater. No one cares about wastewater.
No, we don't.
You feel left out?
I want to know.
When you have a problem though, you wanna know about wastewater.
Yeah, you know what, I put a line right through wastewater.
That works.
Okay.
What's
So,
that?
yes, we're back to
We'll
wastewater.
update the
Yeah.
headworks too.
Yeah.
It's all
So,
about wastewater.
wastewater treatment facility, we treated 3.5 million gallons of wastewater. Everything appears to be going pretty smoothly with the headworks project. We did have a little bit of a delay. There was a slight change order. They had to change, I believe, the size of some doors, and ordering the doors slowed things down. But John Fenton's been in touch with the engineer. Engineer's been in touch with the contractor, and I spoke with Pete today, and he indicated that they're back doing work and things are starting to move forward rather nicely. We have two new employees, Scott Rathjen and Brian Bacamo. They started Monday, and I spoke with Pete, and he's very happy with what he's seen so far. Obviously, it's early in their employment, but it's good to see people approach the job with high energy, so I'd like to welcome them to the village of Rhinebeck. Then, you may recall, back in the fall, there was a gentleman, Pierce Lishman, that approached the board. He's a resident at the Woods, and he was concerned about a noise issue, one of the pumps that basically has to run constantly. So I met with him back in December, and we walked the property. I showed him the Headworks project. Actually, it might have been January, but nonetheless, I met with him, walked the project with him, showed him the pumps, what we were doing, and fortunately, Pete Rathjen was able to construct a cover for the pumps, and it seems to have mitigated the noise quite nicely. As the leaves come on the trees, we're hopeful that it will even mitigate the noise further, and that Mr. Lishman and the other residents of the Woods will be happy with that result. Otherwise, everything's running pretty smoothly down at the wastewater treatment plant.
Just as an add-on to that, I believe it was John Ramondo, our maintenance worker here at the Village Hall, who built those boxes, so I did see him.
I'll have
They look
to
nice,
address
so-
that with Pete.
Yeah, so I did see John and thank him. They do look pretty good, better than the rigid foam and duct tape. It looks pretty sharp.
We try to stay away from duct tape.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Any other things I missed on the agenda? Okay, so special requests, we have something about an animal hospital event.
Customer Appreciation Day.
Okay.
June 5th.
Does it have a number? I'm missing the number of people. Is it on there?
100 plus.
Okay, so, I mean, this is under the threshold of the number. I don't think we need to address it. It doesn't, there would be an event that does not require an event application. Right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, good luck to the animal hospital there, animal appreciation for animal, customer appreciation. We had these little flyers come from the county. So the county has started a local business registry in an effort to direct municipal business to local businesses. So things that fall below certain thresholds in the procurement policy, local businesses can register with the county to be involved in the system and be allowed to sell to the municipalities within Dutchess County. So that may be a good opportunity for some local businesses. They have these little cards. I think we'll put them down in the vestibule downstairs. Right there? If they're out there already.
Yeah, the performing arts. It wasn't on the agenda, but.
Okay.
Banner.
We'll put that right where the farm animal discussion is. So we have a request from the Performing Arts Center to hang their banners, the 10th Annual Sanskrit Shakespeare Festival. I believe these have been done for a number of years, is that correct? Okay. It's going to be Romeo and Juliet and West Side Story this year. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the placement of the banners between April 4th and May 2nd. Is that consistent days? Is that everything?
Pretty much.
Uh,
It's always before the schools, so.
Okay, that's usually about a month. Pending receipt of the insurance, I'll make the motion to approve the requests.
Second.
Discussion.
Do these dates conflict with any other approvals we may have given?
I don't think so. The school is usually June 1st.
Yeah, they're the same dates roughly every year.
Is there a conflict with the farmer's market?
They alternate
And-
polls. They're not all on the same polls.
This is one banner going across.
No,
No, it's the ones on the metal brackets on the telephone poles. They're there every year.
and so is the farmer's market, they both coincided.
But the
at the
farmer's
same time.
market stays for the whole summer, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they're up now.
they're on different poles, though, right?
We've always had both of them at the same time.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do we have the list? Can we go to the list for the public comment?
The purchase kind of Mulberry Street.
What's that? It's there.
Yeah, that's it.
Public comments.
That's afterwards, right? Public comments next on the agenda. Frank?
Hey, good evening.
Right.
So as I understand it, my name is Frank Stanarina. You said you haven't made a decision with the goats. The first question I have is, why'd you leave that tent up there all winter long? I mean, it's an eyesore in our neighborhood. It really is. I'd like an answer to that. I'd also like to know how much you paid for that tent. It looks like it probably cost about $1,000 or $2,000, so you bought it for the goats. So you had an intention of having those goats up there for a while. And so I know it costs $400 to mow the land, and it costs $800 for you to have the goats, so you're $400 in the hole before you bring the goats up there. The goats cost more money than a mower cost. That's not fiscally responsible. If you put that tent, if your neighbor put that tent or that barn or that garage in their front yard, I guarantee that you'd have a stink about it. I guarantee it. Some 30 feet, 40 feet long, 15, 20 feet wide, 15, 20 feet tall. Ugly. You want to look at me and be honest and say, oh yeah, I would let my neighbor have that in his front lawn. You know what really gets me though about you guys? You passed a village law. Would you like me to read it to you? About farm animals.
We didn't pass a law about farm animals, Frank. We don't need you to read us a
I'm
proposed
going to read
law.
it. It says, in the village of Rhinebeck, except for farm lots, for every 1 acre of open pasture land, there shall not be more than 1 horse, cow, hog, beef cattle, sheep, goat, or other 4-legged domestic type animal or combination thereof. And you want to put 30 goats, you want to bring 30 goats on less than 1 acre and have them create urine and feces in a water area where people have to get their drinking water.
They get drinking water up there?
I think that's the town water supply, isn't it?
I never saw a water fountain up there.
Is that a town water supply, Howard?
Village.
Is it?
It's a village.
Gary, can you?
Are you getting water?
I don't want to take any of Frank's 3 minutes.
Yeah,
because
keep
we
that-
want
keep
to
going,
get
that out of
through
your
those
system.
3 minutes, yeah, then we can
Oh my
respond.
God, that's condescending, Howie. Get it out of my system. That's absolutely rude.
I'm sorry, Frank. I'm
You're,
so sorry.
you're, listen to you. You're being condescending again. This is awful. You know, this is terrible. And this woman, I loved what this woman said. You know why? Because she's right. You folks, you're not transparent. You weren't transparent with the trees to this poor lady, and you weren't transparent to us up at Hiley Road. But can you really believe that having 30 goats,
20.
20 goats?
Maximum of 20 that are mentioned.
15 seconds.
1 acre says 1 goat. 1 acre. Do you believe you're above the law? In good conscience, do you really believe you're that much above the law that you could
Thank you,
say
Frank.
whatever
Thank
you want
Frank.
to
Your
do?
time is up.
That you
So,
can
Frank,
say
can I address
whatever you want to
Can I
do?
address some of your questions?
Sure.
So first, the tent was purchased from Tractor Supply for approximately $400. It was also purchased under the assumption that, and still the assumption that we may be able to use it, because it is, in a way, tent that we can transport if we have to transport.
What was the primary purpose that you bought it for?
The initial purpose of the tent was exactly that, to give a safe haven in bad weather for the goats while they were up there during the fall.
Thank you.
That is a fact.
So you bought that with the premise of knowing that you were gonna have goats up there for a while?
The goats were there, Frank,
They
you know
were-
that.
We
You've been
did
here
it in the
complaining
fall
about it.
time, and it was the purpose of giving the goats a safe haven while they were there during the fall.
And you left the tent up there, why?
Yes, we did leave the tent.
Why?
Right? We didn't have a,
Do you have a, Frank,
didn't
is
have
there-
a
do you have
use for it
a
at the
zoning
time.
complaint about the tent?
Sure, it's in the zoning
Okay,
law, it's
shall-
100 feet, you
Shall
can't
we
have
talk
anything
about
like
the
that.
snowmobile trailer within, what, 5 feet of the village property line? Is that where you want to go with this conversation?
I can
We've
go with that because
received-
I can move
Frank,
that.
we've received
I'm
complaints
happy
about
to
your
move
trailer.
that.
so,
I'm happy to move that, it'll be gone tomorrow.
Okay, great.
Will your tent be gone tomorrow?
so,
No.
Frank, the tent is not as large as, Frank, the tent.
Thank you.
The tent is not near as large as you've led the public to believe it is. It's really 10 by 12 and it's less than 8 feet tall. All right, so it's
I said-
rather a small tent.
I didn't know, I just said
No,
about.
you said 20 feet high.
No, you
It
said,
looks like it.
Yeah.
It looks like it.
well, I want to give you the facts so you know.
Looks like
really
it
what
is, are
size
two
it is.
different things.
And you can go look at it at Tractor Supply if you would like, right?
Right.
So, and we do have a public comment period. We are very interested in hearing from everybody on March 24th, right? So please come on March 24th and we'll be glad to listen.
And why do you feel you're above the law?
We're not above the law.
But you are, if you're putting 30 goats up there, it says
We're
one.
not
Says
putting
20.
30, we're not putting 30.
Mr.
When?
Guido, it's
Frank.
your turn for the microphone.
Yeah.
Step on up.
I'll be bringing the DEC with me as well as the Board of Health and an attorney.
My name's Enrique Guerrero, I live in 2 Ivy Road. I did a lot of research to solidify your claim. First of all, I found out, I got copies of the deed restrictions, they're not deeds, they're indentures from the county clerk that does prove that you do not have deed restrictions as we have in our deed restrictions. So I went back to actually talking to Maria Teresa Train, the owner of the thing who lives in Palermo, Italy. And I talked to her at length about the purchase of the property. Her recollection of the property is that the village intended to build a pool, a reservoir pool, and that's all that she agreed to. And then that morphed into a steel tank that never was built but was replaced by that cement structure, right? And by the way, there are no building permits in any of these structures that I can find in either Dutchess County, in the state, or in the town. And I'm going to be doing a FOIA request to Patricia Kuhn to find out if the building permit and any information available on that water tank. I talked to Mir Tadrahani, the developer of Violet Hill Estates. He tells me that the cement structure was erected in 1998, so it does not, as claimed by your board, pre-exist the Violet Hill Estates. They actually built that in 1988. That's the same year that I bought my property. So I also not only exist, I also was coexisting with that property, and I was not a consultant in the creation of that, nor was anybody on Highly Road. I then took a look at the map that the Dutchess County has on the property, the 2 parcels. The map does not show the cement structure, but shows the reservoir. It also shows a boundary of trees that Nir Tadrahani had put in as part of the development, which was not maintained by the village. and it surrounds the village parcel with a set of trees. So that's in the official map of those two parcels. The next, I already filed a complaint with the town zoning officer. Your structure, or pump station is 10 feet from the borderline, of the village property parcel. And as you know, there's a 15.
You're past 3 minutes, just so you know.
There's a 15, and I'm Filipino, so I don't understand your English. So there is a, you are in violation of the ordinance. I also looked at whether the town and the village has an IMA agreement, and that doesn't exist. So your jurisdiction claim that applies to that does not exist, nor does it exist for the.
Time, Mr. Breeder.
All right,
And-
thank you for your comments.
It's all on there.
Oh, that is all on there. I can just give a little feedback. We
Tell the
have,
truth, okay? I've already gotten a couple of your lines.
okay, sure. As you know, and we've stated publicly on many occasions, we have researched this through our village attorney. We have been in contact with the town. We're fully aware that you have been to the town, to the building department, to the zoning department, and from what I understand, what I'm told, without soliciting any of this information from the town, is that you've been given the same information from them that you've been given from us.
That's not true.
Okay. That's
So
not
it's
true.
one of you is telling the lie.
Yeah, the point is, there has been.
We do have an email from the town saying that they are in favor of using the goats, but wanted to solicit public opinion, given the sensitivity, and I think that's exactly what we're trying to do.
Well, and the fact that the zoning enforcement officer, the building inspector, everybody over at the town has researched your claims, your complaints, and they found none of them to be valid. That the village has, the property is completely legal there, and everything that we've presented in terms of the zoning restrictions, the deed restrictions are accurate in terms of what we have presented in our public forums right here. So there are no secrets. It is all public information.
That's not the information I got.
We have personally reviewed that right here in this forum. I'm sure, like you said, it's all been caught on the camera, so you can go back at your leisure and review it. It all has been reviewed right here. Anybody else on that?
So
Sherry?
you do believe you're above the law, that you can do what the actual law says?
Frank, your minutes expired so long ago. We're not above the law, we're acting within the law. And we have been for many, many years, long before you were there or Mr. Garrido was there.
There's a law on the books that says not want more than one farm animal.
Frank, you're talking about, again, you're talking about a village law that has not been adopted.
No, a town law. The town law says it.
Sherry, your turn.
The town law
Thank you.
says it.
Okay, my thoughts were on the workers' comp feedback earlier with adopting the outside the jurisdiction coverage. I'm not sure how you track the hours of the volunteers, but I work on workers' comp administration daily. And I was wondering how those hours are tracked, how you're capturing what service they're offering, and if there's an opportunity to save some money by looking at how the audit is performed and making sure that however they log their time in or going to the site, that you might have some cost savings there. That was it. I just didn't want to interject that earlier.
Sure, thank you.
Yep.
I think the workman's comp for the fire department is not based on number of hours, correct? Do you remember what the basis is?
I don't know if it's on the number of people, but it's not ours.
Some of the volunteer firemen, the Netherlands law.
It's something to do with the area serviced or something? It's not based on the number of hours that they work. But we can get that for next time.
There may be an opportunity to save.
Yeah. Well, we're always looking.
Is it
looking
through
for-
NYSERD? State
No.
Insurance Fund?
No, it's through the Comp Alliance. We have,
Fair.
where's that one?
Road closures.
they're announcing the road closures for
the season.
Go ahead. Okay. So we got the fairgrounds, the road closures on Mulberry Street, Thursday, May 5th through Tuesday, May 10th for the Antique Car Show, Thursday, June 9th through Tuesday, June 14th for the Good Guys Road and Custom Car Show, and Tuesday, August 16th through Tuesday, August 30th for the Dutchess County Fair. So that portion of the road is owned by the Dutchess County Fairgrounds, or the Agricultural Society, correct?
No, the closure is owned by us, and the stub that, or is it the other way around, the stub that goes out to Route 9?
Yeah, they own the part that goes out to Route 9, up to a certain point. So basically, they're telling us that
They're gonna close
they're
it.
going to close it. Yeah. So it's kind of, it's more of a notice than a request for approval. So filed. Minutes? Anybody got anything on those sets of minutes? These are all ones that you've emailed to us individually?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as submitted for January 19th, February 9th, and February 15th, all of 2016.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
I would just like to go back 1 second. Not to change anything, but I just want to let you know that the calendar for all the other events
Oh, it's attached?
is attached. And they don't include, there's no road closures associated with that, but we should take into account these events are going on in the village when we have our village calendar. And we're planning other events, whether it
I'll
be,
put it on the calendar. Have you been checking our website, because you can see the events on our website?
okay, we should probably add these in just so that we're
Yeah,
not
and
scheduling a 5K or a parade or something on the same days some of these take place.
I'll add it to the calendar on the website.
Yeah, put it on the paper calendar maybe downstairs. Anybody have anything, anything else for the business?
Well, it's good to see the good guys are coming back to the fairgrounds.
Yes,
They've been away for about 5 years.
They took a trip to Springfield, Massachusetts, I believe, and they're coming back. Anything else? Anybody? Okay, I don't have anything for an executive session, so I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.